Cool. Well, congratulations on the A-frame and having it go to Tribeca. That is so freaking cool. And Calvin, I'd love to hear from you just about more about this film and inspiration and wanting to make a film that is kind of focused around this idea of cancer and using cancer as kind of an interesting core for a sci-fi film.
Yeah, I thought it would be a really cool way to bring a human element into a technology kind of dominated genre. I just really wanted to quickly find sympathy for our protagonist, and then in doing that, I think that there was like a an opportunity to create these new characters that around her and be a subplot, an important subplot, and it ended up making the film for me, the writing of it, unique. That's that's what I would say.
Cool. Well, and Dana, I love the way that you kind of embody this character and you're going through obviously a lot, just, to put it lightly. So, what was it like for you to read the script and start out as one character worried about, her day-to-day life and moving on to something much more cosmic, to put it lightly? And I'm so sorry, Dana, you're muted.
And it's Donna.
Sorry, it
Oh,
actually
Donna,
is
I'm
Donna.
so
It's like,
sorry.
that's okay, my
It's
name
written
is
Dana,
Dana.
but it's pronounced Don.
Yeah,
Donna.
but I went through high school being called Dana, so
I'm so
I'm
sorry
used
to
it by
continue
now.
that trauma.
Thank you, Johnny, for doing that. Yeah, totally by complete coincidence, I have the character's name. So yeah, I think it was oh, there's a lot of complexity that was emerged even from just reading the script, it's right there in the text. I think any good story, if you think about like the most like quintessential, like The Hobbit, it's about a character living their everyday life, going on an unexpected adventure. And I think this is a good example of that, just in a very unique adventure in a very difficult circumstance of everyday life. So, like the circumstances themselves are unique and unexpected, but I think the basis of the story is the basis of any good story is a character being pulled out of the loop of life into a wild ride. And I think this was a very unique expression of that kind of story we're familiar, but in a completely new way.
Yeah, because again, like we don't talk about in horror, especially illness like this, I think, in this way, and looking at it in a different way rather than just being a sad thing happening. It is a sad thing, but there's a more active participation going on here, which I think is really cool. But then Johnny, you get to play a mad scientist, but like kind of like a cool punk rock mad scientist kind of, and maybe it's just your long hair and like that kind of thing. And I'm used to a mad scientist like a Frankenstein, and you have like a cooler edge as the mad scientist character. So what was that like for you to get to play around, be a little bit evil, maybe a little bit altruistic, maybe a little selfish, maybe a little bit of everything?
Yeah, all those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
What now? So the question is, what was it like to be able to do that? I feel very
Yeah.
fortunate. And lucky.
Cool.
And I to have the opportunity, and you mentioned it, mad scientist, to be able to play that because it is it's alive kind of vibe to whatever Sam is. So that opportunity, I can check that off my box.
Hell yeah.
Right, check it out. Box.
Yeah,
box?
check
that
yeah.
box. Check that box. Right, that's the saying.
I feel like that whole thing, checking boxes and ticking boxes, it shifted somewhere. We used to always know what to say. Now I'm always confused.
Yeah. What does that mean anymore?
Is it ticking boxes? Is it checking boxes? What are we talking? What boxes?
What box?
Where is the box? What is the box?
It's all very abstract, but yet we all know what each other's talking about. We just don't have one way of saying it.
Linguistics are so bizarre. Someone I know was talking to me about a museum of language nearby, and I want to go because language is so bizarre. Anyway, sorry. Getting off
It is so bizarre in English. I think like the English language is the most bizarre. I'm not sure, but I mean a friend from Ukraine, and how when she's learning English and the brought things to my attention when she'd be like pronouncing the way things are written, but there's like 5 different versions of the same thing and not saying it right and me having to correct, or you know,
there's no consistency really. We like to have some rules, but there's always exceptions to the rule, and those are always annoying to explain or remember myself. I don't know.
right.
Where were we? Back to the A-frame. But Calvin, I really love the moment, obviously, where we have a deluge of blood just coming out of the A-frame. How did y'all accomplish that? It looks practical. I am assuming it is practical. How did that go? Just dumping us an ocean, a mini ocean of blood upon the floor.
I'm gonna pass on that one. I'd like to leave some mystery in this world. That would be a place I would like the audience to
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll respect that.
Thank you.
That sounds good to me. But then and then developing the look of the literal A-frame, the tech, we obviously have very like 1970s vibes coming from everything. But I want to hear from you, Calvin, about how you went about kind of conceptualizing, working with your team to create the aesthetic of the Mad Scientist Lab.
You know, it was something that I was able to do with our brilliant production designer, Anton Tremblay, who had done Army of Darkness and some of the Rob Zombie versions of Halloween and other stuff, other great stuff. And he's a real veteran. So we just kind of, we brought together different references. Some of it was written in the script, but we intentionally left it loose to leave room for experimentation, and also to not set the bar at an impossible place for the budget we were working with. So we think we kind of wanted to make really striking things, but also leave room for the imagination.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then for Johnny and Donna, y'all obviously interact a lot in this film. And I again love the kind of frenetic, chaotic energy, Johnny, that your character inherently brings. And then Donna, you have a little bit more grounded. So what was it like for the two of you to come together and have this relationship dynamic between the two characters? I really loved it. And I like how you guys play off of each other.
Well, I mean, yeah, Johnny is so fun to work with. He's so creative. He has such a great understanding of the character that he plays. I remember us having little chats between takes and you kind of thinking, you know, I think we should do so and so because it would make sense because he's like this and they, like, you know, just the thought process of understanding the character so well. It was such a pleasure to work with, and also an opportunity to learn, you know, from a great actor, what that process looks like in his head. And I
Donna,
think
this is one of your
happy to hear that played on the screen. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is one of your first features, like in a big kind of a starring role, right? Too.
Yeah, it's the first. Yeah. So I was lucky to be in such presence to do that. Not everyone's this this lucky, and you know the team makes the film, and this is a great team.
Yeah, she was great. You know, she, I believe, worked every day and brought it every day, and the ability to do that is a good training ground for her and her malleability, and watching Calvin and her work together and to help bring Donna into a reality. It was really interesting to watch, and I'm very thankful for, you know, well, Calvin and everyone. Nick's great, and what's her name that played Linda?
Lakita.
Huh?
Lakita,
right. I was gonna say that wrong, so good thing I asked. And like, it was like phenomenal. Everyone was phenomenal. And I don't know, brought the appropriate tone that was like able to, like, my own experiences is that the people that I was playing against brought the right tone for me to like, that I lived in that, because he was an autonomous character, you know, and we don't know much about him and why he's doing what he's doing, whatever his motives are. But this particular thing allowed for a different way of going about working, because I wasn't so latched into who everybody was. I was just worried about me, and me in the sense that what our relationship is doesn't matter. I just need to find something true. And so, you know, where normally it would be like a through line through the whole thing, but the ambiguousness of the character allowed for the fact that I could do anything. I had such freedom. I mean, to go from like a normal person to, I mean, to have the spectrum of, could be a possible psychopath, and definitely a megalomaniac, and definitely the whatever his sociopathic natures are, and why he does what he does, allowed for a lot of fun in the moment. And I was saying in an earlier interview, having the trust in whatever the hell this man, or I'm pointing at Calvin right now, was going to bring. I wanted just to be a part of whatever the fuck he brought. And if he was, so I don't know, am I able to say F word? All right, I dropped an F bomb, but that was like what was really fun for me, because it was like tight. It was like a tightrope, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there was, I mean, I've had a lot of experience on sets, but I haven't where because it's like between action and cut, it's like I usually go blank. I don't know, right? And that,
Yeah.
if I don't know what's happening, I think that's good. And when I can do anything, and I'm encouraged to do anything in moments and try stuff, it is so much fun. It's like it's a playground. So I'm so thankful for all the cast. They allowed for that to happen, and the ability to live in the moment. I felt like I was allowed that through the majority of the process. So
That's amazing. That's so cool. Oh, I love to hear that. Well, thank you all of you for chatting with me about A-Frame. I really appreciate it.